Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your Metal Market Wrap-Up, and this wrap-up is for the evening of Wednesday, Fed Day, March 19th, 2025. It's about 6:20 p.m. Daylight Savings Time. So we had the Fed announcement. So before I go into anything and talk the markets, let's take a look at a few things. First, in the morning, you're going to get the Philly Fed Business Activity Index at 7:30. Existing home sales data for February come out at 9 o'clock, and the natural gas storage numbers come out at 9:30. Here's what I want you to look at, and at any point you can hit pause. When you hit pause, you'll be able to read these, all right? But in essence, what this did is the Fed came out and said two things that I see as a change. Number one, they expect higher inflation due to the tariffs. And number two, slower U.S. economic growth, which means they walk away from the idea that it takes lower inflation, at least in my opinion, for them to break interest rates. Rather, for them to cut interest rates, they will look at the slowdown in the economy and switch gears and say, we have to be there to protect the economy. I think today was a huge pivot day. Could it change? It could change on a dime come April 1st, 2nd, when they get a feel for what the tariffs look like. Again, great uncertainty, not my words, Fed Chair Powell's words, very important. So with that in mind, and I think that's the takeaway you should walk away with, is that this is a pivot. And it's an important pivot that we all have to pay attention to. So coming back to the charts, if you will, the gold market says if the Fed thinks there's inflation, there's going to be more. You're up $18 off of that in the aftermarket. Silver rebounds sharply. Copper market keeps going, and platinum. While the stock market's up, I don't trust the stock market on this. I think you're going to see traders use this rally to liquidate positions, not buy new ones for a while. I can see down the road that once we get past April 2nd, things change. They'll change if we get an understanding of what the Trump tariffs are, how they're implemented, how severe they are. It could be a surprise. It could be a bullish surprise. But I think up until you get to that point, the rally overall is going to see liquidation by investors on it. From what I see on the energy market, I see nothing that's super bullish. In the bonds and notes, didn't the Fed just say they have the back of the market? That's not bearish, these markets. That's a bit bullish. Didn't the Fed just say they see an economic slowdown? That's not bearish, that market. And in the foreign currency markets, well, I'm waiting to see how the dollar responds, but I don't think the dollar stays up on this news. It can respond positive for a couple of days, but that's about all that I see. I think the Fed shot a very negative viewpoint of the U.S. economy. When we look at the gold market, it continues to go up. If it were to finish right here, it's at an all-time high for the week. You can see how the market just continues to march to the upside, higher lows, higher highs. And as it's doing so, you're going to see in a moment, it's riding the Bollinger Band higher. Watch. You just keep hitting that. That's called the Gorilla Glue trade. And when that happens, it often forces the Bollinger Band, the slow stochastics to embed. Embed means these markets put the red line and the blue, which is called a K and a D line, the red is the K, going sideways over 80 for at least 3 sessions. Now, you cannot count Thursday because we don't know where it'll end. Both numbers were over 80 on Wednesday. Both numbers were there on Tuesday. Were they there on Monday is the question, and the answer is no. So tomorrow's an important day. Is it going to embed or not? At this point, the market is certainly in overbought territory, right at the band. And remember what I teach you. It's very difficult to get far away from that band, and that's what's going on. But the market is saying this area for the moment is a base. It sounds crazy, I know, at this price, but that's what it is screaming. That for the moment is a base and higher prices are here. With the news of that inflation, because it's certainly more bullish gold than silver, you can see what the market does. It comes up and gets back over the 18-day average, hurting the ratio. So now silver is losing ground to the gold. And you see in the silver, it's not sitting at the upper Bollinger Band, and it hasn't been. It's not riding it. I mentioned that to you yesterday. You're getting there. It is a friendly market. It's trying to embed, but it's got another 2 days to do that at least. You can see right through there. In the copper market, are we going to embed? So let's count here. Both numbers are over 90, but you can't count Thursday. So we have to go back to Wednesday. Okay, both over 80. I said 90, over 80. They were that way on Tuesday. That's good news all the way through. They were that way on Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you got your embedded readings. Embedded means to me that if the markets break without taking out the prior day's high hard, you're a buyer in the market. There's a number. There's a moving average that I use. I show it in the morning subscriber videos. I'm not going to show it here. In the platinum market, you have higher lows, higher highs. You often don't embed. I was pointing that out to you the other day, and suffice to say, I'm right. That seems to be the case. Doesn't mean this isn't bullish. Unlike the market down here, I think the market's setting up for a seasonal move to the upside from this level, if it can get back down there ideally. In the dollar index, I see that you still have a bear market play. I view the rallies in the dollar as bearish. When a Fed says that they see a slowing growth, I don't know that that's so bullish for stocks and the like. I don't think that's so bullish for all that's going on. Why would the dollar hang in there? So I think the pros are selling the rally right now, and they're out if the red line closes over 21. From a chart point of view is what I'm basing that on, not my viewpoint on what I see elsewhere. I told you I would do a special report. I couldn't get it done. We were too busy with all the trading today and everything. I apologize. I'm going to try to get one done Thursday. By Friday, I will have one done, all right? But I don't know if I'll get it done tomorrow or not. I have a dentist appointment, just a checkup, nothing else. But you get those every now and then, and we'll see if it throws my whole day off. I'm Ira Epstein, and by the way, I'm going to come out much earlier tomorrow, one of my good friend's wife's birthday, and it's 6 o'clock. For me, that's hell. So I got to put out everything very early so I can make it to the party, and I will. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.